Include Gilbert Arenas, Tracy McGrady, Chris Webber. Doors open 9 a.m. Be there to see our live show, 10 a.m. Eastern. So I told you this morning the struggle was real. I was a little nervous. I'm like, I don't have Stephen A. I don't have the Morris twins. So what is my game plan? Am I going to report the news? But you see the hustle. You know, it's a slight jog power walk. Marcus, you're extra focused.
I started picking it up a little bit. I don't know if you're gonna watch. I started taking the
extra. We got a little jog happening. You guys were locked in, but you made it just in time. And then luckily, the wonderful technical folks in Stephen A. studio in Oklahoma City pulled it off. So here we are.
Yeah, you had that run. It was a little bad weather today. We had to.
Not bad, fellas. Not bad. Not bad. I was a lot worse when I was jogging in there. I was out of breath. So y'all did
They definitely let us know that. They let us know that for sure.
You guys were locked in, but don't worry, because Monday we'll be at the new studio. You won't be having to do that. It is. I saw it yesterday. We did rehearsals. I'm really excited about it. All right, back to the association, guys. Kevin Durant narrowing his search for a new team. So far he's got Miami, Houston, San Antonio on his wish list. That according to Shams. According to our Mark Spears, Durant was interested in joining New York, but the feeling, it wasn't mutual. Take a listen.
KD wanted the New York Knicks. He wanted to go there. The Knicks have no interest in bringing him in, which probably makes Knicks Nation, I don't know, probably quite interested in why not.
Okay. Marcus, you think it would be a mistake if the Knicks don't pursue KD?
Of course it would be. Like, you at least got to put your name in the sweepstakes. And I understand, like, you don't want to break up your core because a lot of people talk about, he might only have 2, maybe 3 years. The window is now, though. New York has never won a championship. And not saying that it's guaranteed that they win, but the East is so wide open. You add a Kevin Durant to that team, and I'm assuming if you look at the numbers, you will only obviously lose a guy like Cat, right? So your core kind of stays intact, and you add another piece. You go out and you find some free agents that can come around the team. You get a new coach that has a system that makes, everybody significantly better, right? Like the other guys, you make them step up to the plate, you give them a role and where they're playing at. So for me, I'm going to take my shot at it. If I got to get Kevin Durant, a player that still is filling it up, still having the best careers, numbers-wise, still super efficient. He might miss some games, and it's the Mecca. I'm going after a guy like that to give me my chance. You may never get back to this with the same team, so it's not guaranteed, but I'm putting my best foot forward, and I'm getting a guy that can change the game, that can score, that can add to what you guys done as a champion, right? That's been on different teams with different players, so kind of can know how to fit his way in, right? I think it'll be interesting to see what coach they bring in, so what system they have. But I think that might be the biggest part, other than them not actually wanting Kevin Durant, is having a coach so you know who he's playing for, right? Like, so we know who's going to.
So we're unhappy with the way they handled the coaching decision.
I think they should have fired Tibbs.
We're not liking this. What's happening with Kevin Durant. Stephen A., you're a diehard, lifelong Knicks fan. Where are you on this with bringing in KD? Do you think it's a mistake to not do it?
Well, of course it's a mistake. Of course it's a mistake. It's idiocy, to be quite honest with you. But before I get to that, let me say this. This is a classic case of your past comments coming back to bite you in the ass. That's really what this is about, because KD, if you remember correctly, when he decided to go to Brooklyn and then he revealed why, he decided to go away from the New York Knicks and to go to the Brooklyn Nets, he talked about how the Knicks were corny. And at the time, he was right. Unfortunately, what he didn't take into account the pettiness of an owner like James Dolan, who probably remembered that. And that's the only reason. Because, see, anybody that has a speck of knowledge about the game of basketball, you can't justify not wanting KD on your squad. There is not a system he can't play in. There is not a system he can't complement. This is KD, a career 27-point-per-game scorer. Okay, shooting 50% from the field, nearly 40% from three-point range, nearly 90% from the free throw line. He is a professional scorer. This past year, in his mid-30s, he averaged over 26 on 52% shooting from the field and better than 40% from three-point range. This is who he is. And when it comes to putting the ball in the hole, he is as elite as they come. Without question, one of the all-time greats. Who the hell are you, if you the New York Knicks, to say you don't want somebody like that? Even with Jalen Brunson being as great as he is, even as we sit here recognizing Mr. Clutch Player of the Year, all-star, big-time player, superstar in this game. No one would say he's KD. We understand there's levels to this. And so for the New York Knicks to take this position, okay, I get it from the standpoint if you had your old team in place and you didn't want to, quote-unquote, disrupt the culture, even though I'd still be against you on that. But considering the changes that they made, giving up 5 picks, 4 unprotected in the first round for Mikal Bridges, giving up a couple of picks and a couple of players for Karl-Anthony Towns, you already changed it up. So if to sit up there and say you don't want KD, what nerve?
I want to piggyback on that. By the way, it's hilarious that he called them corny. Just the fact that seems like so KD. I don't know him, but it's just funny. Keith, what's your level of concern, though? We see, like, the action's already started. Orlando's making moves that the Knicks are going to get left behind in the East.
I don't think either way you do this deal, if you do this deal, you don't do this deal, there's no real level of concern, right? Because the East is wide open. We continue to say that. We don't know what Boston's going to do. Obviously, Jason Tatum's not there next year. They made it to the Eastern Conference Finals this year, so it's still wide open. Now, do Kevin Durant give him the push? Absolutely. I think, and I don't know if people know because they talk about, like, moving your core pieces around, right? Like you said earlier, Cat makes more than KD. So that's the trade right there.
Right.
Are you willing to trade Cat for KD? Now, if you ask me, I'm taking KD all day. Nothing wrong with Cat, but I think that's the push that you need. You can fill a team with minimum players and make that team better. And I do think they're a better team with KD and not Cat.
I just had a thought, Stephen A., and sorry to kind of hijack the conversation, but do you think part of this might be not going after KD is because you have potential to get Giannis, and you'd rather have Giannis?
Shredded that when they gave up the 4 unprotected first-round picks and the 5 overall for a KD. Now, they still hold out hope because if Giannis says, I want to go to New York, Milwaukee make that happen, that's a different scenario. But in terms of assets, it would certainly cost less to get KD than it would cost to get Giannis. So you have to look at it that way as well. But I would also like to say this. I got a lot of respect and appreciation for Karl-Anthony Towns. I do believe he's arguably the best shooting big man in basketball. Of course, I would take KD over Karl-Anthony Towns. There's no shade, but Karl-Anthony Towns ain't KD. He can't put the ball on the floor like KD. He doesn't have as many as much of an arsenal offensively as a KD. We know that. We've seen that. Nobody's blind. And KD with Jalen Brunson, hell yeah. The only issue is that Karl-Anthony Towns is younger than KD, and you do find yourself wondering how much time KD has left. But I look at KD as a lover of the game of basketball, lives, eats, and breathes it. All he wants to do is hoop and mind his business, right? I think he's the kind of guy that's going to be around for a few more years. So when you think about a 2-year, $122 million deal, they're saying he would deserve, let's be clear, that's over $60 million a year. And even approaching his 36th to 37th birthday, I want to be very, very clear about this. Kevin Durant. Yes, that same dude that insults me, I don't give a damn. I love him, okay? I know he's a good brother. I don't give a damn how sensitive he gets. That brother is worth more than $60 million
Stephen
per
A.,
year
if
in
you're
today's
Phoenix,
NBA
if you're saying
economy
it's him
on a
for
basketball
Cat
court.
and he's better, why is Phoenix going to do that?
I think he helps Phoenix, right? He adds another star next to Book. It's another big man you can get the ball to, and it's the only asset. And, like, unless you have, for me, unless you're getting a big package back for him, or you're getting the assets and that's directing the way that your team is moving, I think Cat and Book actually fits. I think the West is still loaded, so it's still going to be a dogfight of him going over there. But my only issue with this is the Knicks saying we have no interest in Kevin Durant. Like, I'm not even going to put that out, even if I might have small,
I just felt like that might have something to do with Giannis or somebody else that they have their eye on to send a message.
We're not going to X him out. We're not going to cut his feet off and say that's not going to happen. That don't make sense.
That's not Knicks fans.
I don't feel like that.
Stephen A.?
Hold on. Let me put on my report now there. First of all, it's not Knicks fans. It's not Leon Rose. It's not World Wide West. It's not those guys. It's James Dolan. And the reason it's James Dolan is because as I reported back in the day, they want to deny it all they want. They can deny it all. I'm telling you what I know. KD was supposed to be going to the Knicks. At the 11th hour, he decides, being convinced by Kyrie, they going to Brooklyn. It's personal with James Dolan. because he was led to believe, whether it's true or not, he was led to believe that KD, by Steve Mills and those guys, they were told KD was coming to New York. And he was led to believe they were coming. And he believes they changed their mind and went to Brooklyn. And as a result, it's personal with James Dolan, and he ain't trying to hear that. That's what this is about. This ain't about the Knicks fans. We all would want KD.
Wanna try to boast at what I look like. Keep them going, try to wear, I pull up long range. Jimmy with the heat, I'm on fire. It's NBA, I'm a